Streaming live from the Paul and Catherine Ranke Memorial Studio. This is TV Free Baltimore. Support for TV Free Baltimore comes from viewers like you. Become a TV Free Baltimore member by visiting patreon.com/TV Free Baltimore.
You're watching Maryland Politics here on TV Free Baltimore.
Hello and welcome to Maryland Politics. I'm your host, Louise Baker. In the studio this evening, we have Josh Koziol, who is running for Harford County Council, District B. Josh is a husband, a father of 2 daughters. His decision to run is simple. He values the county and feels that the job of ensuring our rights starts locally. From Josh's website statement, as a community, we have banded together and we the people are the future of this county, state, and country. Welcome, Josh, to the show.
Thanks, Louise. Thanks for having me.
So I want you to start out by telling me a little bit more about yourself, your background, and your family life.
Perfect. Yes, I'm a lifelong Harford County resident, as is my wife. I'm the father of 2 beautiful kids. They're the inspiration for everything that I do, as well as I'm a husband that we just celebrated our 13th wedding anniversary last week. So thank you.
So why are you here? What has motivated you to run for office?
As I just mentioned, my 2 daughters and my family, but also when I was told that I was not essential and we were locked down, I said that this cannot happen. I started going to and getting involved locally. I've started going to events and speaking up. And as I stand here today, I've made the decision to fill the gap and run for county council because I believe that the local representation is what's going to fix our state and allow our country to be reestablished and for freedom and for liberty.
So you've been very outspoken, from what I understand, regarding lockdowns and medical freedom. Tell me about that. Where have you been? Where have you been? Who have you been sharing your message with?
I've been pretty much everywhere in the state, from Annapolis to the Board of Education in Harford County to the Baltimore City, standing out in front of the Maryland State Department of Education, to the county council meetings for the past 2+ years. I've constantly given testimony, even built signs with my daughters. We built a 4-foot by 15-foot sign, 2 of them actually, and it was a good project for our family too.
So talk to me a little bit about Harford County and what are the harms specifically you've seen to children, citizens, people in your community specifically.
Well, the most pressing issue is the businesses. Our businesses have struggled in Harford County. When they were non-essential, as I said at the beginning, they started shutting down, and the business that shuts down does not reopen, or the chances of it reopening are very slim, as well as the loss of education that we experienced in Harford County, from the Harford County public school systems to the superintendent and the government overreach.
So now we have the media, reporting on all these different strands of COVID, talking about monkeypox, a lot of fear-mongering. What would your stance be regarding more mandates and lockdowns in our future?
It's very simple. The past 2+ years, we have been struggling as a community, as a society. We can never let this happen again, and we can never forget what just happened to us. Our parental rights were violated. Our children were pushed to the side. Our businesses were an afterthought. And just as a citizen in this society, we weren't considered essential by the majority of people. We need to be able to come together as a community and support each other. This is the foundation of our society, and we will survive this together. We don't need the overreach from the state and federal government. We don't need to be told that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. We have the rights and the freedoms and liberties to do what is right for our own families and for our own community.
Rick Grambo, who is running for Harford County Council President, was here last month. And he talked a lot about concerns regarding overdevelopment in your county. Do you share those same concerns with Mr. Grambo?
Absolutely. And it is something that I value very close to my heart because as being a lifelong Harford County resident and wanting my children to grow up in this community that I grew up in, it is not the same place that I grew up. The loss of the farmland, the overdevelopment, the condos and the apartments, the mega warehouses and the freight transfer stations, they're overtaking our community. We actually have a project going on right now that's going to be a 5.5 million square foot warehouse that's coming into a 700-acre farm. This is going to bring a lot of extra traffic, a lot of extra crime. It's going to bring a lot of extra just detrimental activities within that community. So yes, I agree with Rick that overdevelopment of Harford County is something that we should all be very concerned about.
So if you and Rick Grambo win, what would you all do to deal with this, to address this issue in your county?
Well, it's something that we'd have to work together to make sure that we can protect this community. It's not just our responsibility. We need a strong county executive because our county executive oversees the planning and zoning. As the county council, we deal with the zoning appeals cases. So we need to make sure that we are putting the citizens in our community first. We're not bowing down to the to the developers. We're not bowing down to the special interest groups. That we are making our decisions on what's best for the community, not what's best for somebody else's pocket.
Let's transition into education. You're the father of 2 young daughters. You understand that education is very prevalent on a lot of parents' minds. Our children should be educated in reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's a little different these days. So you've been very outspoken, I understand, at your county school board meetings. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, first, I spoke to the County Board of Education, I believe it was March or April of 2020 when the students were being locked down. My daughter was in kindergarten then, and there was a 2-week period where she did not get an education, and for weeks after that, she was just given ABC Mouse. And there was really the educational loss and the restrictions that were put on her were not conducive to what she needed as a growing student. Also, I made the decision, and my wife and I as a family made a decision to pull her out of Harford County Public Schools. But that still was not an excuse for us not to continuously communicate with Harford County Public School system, go to give testimony, attend rallies outside. I mean, last August, there was probably 400 to 500 people outside of the Board of Education building demanding that we have our parental rights restored.
So you've mentioned parental rights with regard to COVID, lockdowns, mandates, and things of that. You want to talk to me a little bit about your thoughts and feelings about parental rights when it comes to critical race theory and this new education curriculum that's coming out of Maryland regarding sexuality and gender ideology?
Something that I've been actually speaking about for quite some time and opposing it. It is in Harford County. As much as they want to say that it is not, it is. This is something that is not conducive to a proper education to our children. It's not providing them anything about math, English, history, science, anything like that. This is an attack on our parental rights, first and foremost. These kind of conversations deserve to happen inside the home, not inside of the school. Also, when it comes to the parental rights regarding critical race theory and gender ideation, as I said, these are already being implemented in Harford County, and for somebody to stand up and speak out at the Board of Education, we get attacked, but it's something that means very much to our families and our community that we will not stop communicating and demanding that our children be taught a proper education.
So what do you and your buddy Rick Grambo propose are the solutions to some of this?
It's simple. You have to say no sometimes. As a county council, we don't have control of the Board of Education as far as their day-to-day operations. But what we do have control of is holding them accountable and making sure that they're transparent with the funding that we do approve to them. Also, we have some great candidates for the Board of Education in Harford County, and it's working with them to make sure that we protect our parental rights, protect our children, and that they have the framework to build the educational system in Harford County that is family-based and community-based and restore what is needed for our county.
So before we wrap up, we need to talk about crime because that's another concern on a lot of people's minds. Candidates that come in here from Harford County suggest it's a relatively safe place to live. Talk to me about your crime stance, your platform portions that have to do with crime.
You are right. We do live in a good environment in Harford County, but making sure that that stays and protecting the community and the public safety is very, very important. We've had some crime increase. There was an execution-style murder a couple weeks ago, and that's something that is not what we need in Harford County. Again, as a lifelong Harford County resident, this is not what I grew up with, and this is not what I want my children to grow up with either. But public safety is many different layers. It's protecting and supporting our police officers and the oath that they took to protect us in the Constitution. Also, it is the judiciary system and making sure that they're holding these criminals accountable and not putting them right back out on the streets. So yes, public safety in Harford County is something of utmost importance and something that needs to be protected.
Can you offer people watching your contact information?
Yes. Again, my name is Josh Koziol. My email address is joshkoziol, Koziol, 2022@gmail.com. Also on Facebook, Josh Koziol for Harford County Council District B, and my website is josh22.com.
Well, thank you very much for being here and sharing your thoughts and campaign agenda with us, and good luck.
Thanks, Louise.
And thank all of you for watching Maryland Politics on TV Free Baltimore. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm your host, Louise Baker. Take care, stay safe, and please join us for our next interview. Bye.
You're watching Maryland Politics here on TV Free Baltimore.